Hello, this is Linda Vetras Nichols, evolutionaryhealer.com, and I have with me the most amazing person, Jennifer Rohner. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hey, Linda. Glad to be here.
Wonderful to have you. Thank you. So, Jennifer, you have an amazing story of transformation, and you started out as a pharmacist, which is fascinating to me. And you taught me about getting out of the cubicle isn't so much about being in an office space in one of those cubicles. Actually, they even have pharmacies that are like shoebox pharmacies, and you are
Mm.
actually in something like that where you just don't get out of that box or that cubicle. So tell us your story of transformation. Where did everything kind of begin for you?
Well, it's funny how we say cubicle a lot, and really it's not even so much a literal cubicle as it is kind of a catch-all term. At least that's the way I see it. It's a catch-all term for a corporate job, for a job that seems like it should be something you should be doing, something professional, something respectable, but it's just not you. And
Ah,
I can really, yeah, it means a whole lot more than just a little, I don't know, whatever by whatever space with a, or you're stuck all day long looking at a computer or whatever it is the situation is. It's more a kind of a state of mind than anything else, and it's one that I just want people to know that there are so many things you can do with yourself that have nothing to do with necessarily a quote unquote respectable professional direction. And, if that's you, great. But I have a feeling that for so many of us, we're not being who we are when we take a professional direction. And it's funny how I came to have that sort of a thing happen to me. When I was young, I had all kinds of ideas. I wanted to just do wonderful things. I wanted to write. I wanted to create. I was writing stories and plays and even ballets for the neighborhood kids when I was young. And I just thought, I'm going to do something amazing and awesome with myself. And when it got to be, high school graduation time, I tried to, realize, hey, what am I going to do? And from there, it just kind of went on a real strange path. I all of a sudden started to panic. It's like, oh no, I need a direction. So I tried to buy myself a little bit more time. I spent a little time going out there and doing different things. I traveled. I was a nanny for a while. And all the while I kept thinking, this is all well and good, but it's not direction. You got to pick something. And so I did. I wound up going to college and going to, of all things, pharmacy school. I mean, I had a passing interest in the medical field, and I thought, why not? And I figured, well, I'll just do this until I figure out what it is I'm here to do, right? And I planned to maybe, 6 months to a year, and then surely it would happen, right? Well, fast forward about 15 years.
yikes! Oh my
So,
goodness.
yeah, it was a long and crazy path, but I just never really let go of that idea that there was something more I needed to be doing, something different and something special that was unique to me. And I've had a little bit more trial and error there. I tried different careers. Sometimes a career change is what you need. No, that didn't work either. I tried, going a different route. I tried looking into things. Okay, surely there's something I love enough to make it a business, right? Something that I can do that would be amazing, that would be fulfilling, that would really express what I have to say to the world. So I tried personal training. That was the next step. And because I'm a big fitness person, I thought, hey, why not? Yeah, that was getting there, but not quite. And then it just occurred to me working with some amazing coaches and mentors that really all I needed to do was myself and help other people figure that out too. Because when you are in tune with the person that you really are, with what really lights you up, then the things that you love to do will just kind of come to the surface. And so that's what I mean when I say tell people go do what you love. It sounds kind of almost flippant at first, but it's really not. You just have to start with looking into yourself, and that's the only place you're going to find the answers.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. So, and then start from where you are. That's telling me more about start
Yeah.
from where you are, because that's what you teach and preach. So, how does that work?
Yes, absolutely. Well, it's when you first kind of get the idea, okay, I know that cubicle, corporate life, whatever, isn't for me, and I know that what I would love more than anything is to do what I love all day. Okay, great. So there's this big world of online entrepreneurship now that I'm, sure a lot of us are familiar with, and there's so many people out there talking about all of the things that they do all day and their, massive amounts of money they're making, and that's amazing. It's very exciting and inspiring, but when you're first starting out and you don't even know what you want to do yet, it's so easy to fall into that trap and think, okay, how can I ever even get there? I mean, it seems intimidating to even get going. But I always tell people, everybody started from somewhere. Just because somebody else is, showing off the highlight reel that, by the way, I'm sure they earned, which is fantastic and very inspiring. But when you look at somebody's highlight reel, you just can't compare what you have going on to that and expect to, have it make any sense. I mean, you have to start with where you are right now. And if that is still not quite sure what it is you want to do, that's fine. The fact that you want to do something is a good enough start right there. So
Yep.
This is where, it's so important to acknowledge where you are, because that only from there can you take the real step.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. All right.
Right.
So,
I was just going to say, one of my favorite analogies of all time, and I got to throw this in because I'm a big runner, big-time distance runner, and I coached this marathon training for quite some time with an organization called Team in Training, and I would have people show up on day one for training that had the courage to sign up for a full marathon but had never even run a 5K, and every one of them finished.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that? So
that's cool.
Kind of it's like a physical world analogy. So I always tell people, look, you don't start training for a marathon by showing up your first day and running 10 miles. No, you run one or two.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how you're talking about if you don't know what it is that you want to do. It really is about just getting out there and doing something. And it comes because we don't really know what other people see in us or want from us. And sometimes it's this stuff that's like, really? So just getting out and around people. The other thing, which was a big shocker for me, is the know, like, and trust, and so my first, and I've had businesses before, so I wasn't a newbie. And I figured my husband would sell this big, package after we had a VIP day, and 2 weeks later, I sold the first one, and 2 weeks later, I did it again, and my coaches were like, well, you were selling to the people you had already established know, like, and trust. So who is out there that you have that established with? Who knows you? Let them know what you're doing. And, but even before that, it's way more important to find out what they're up to and to go, I may be able to help. I may, the word help isn't always a good one, but I may have some resources for you on that. I may be able to guide you, along that path or whatever, and boom, that's your first client. So whether you've figured out a package or not, right? So very cool.
Absolutely. Right. Just getting out there and telling people, well, actually, we can come back to that. Let's just say, let's just say we're starting from where you are, just like we were talking about on the slide here. So the first thing that I like to tell people to do is just start to get comfortable looking inside yourself, and don't demand answers. That's the hardest part. I mean, I know for a fact for the longest time I was like, somebody just tell me what it is I want to do. And nobody could really do that for me until I started to let go a little bit of outcomes of getting these immediate answers downloaded from, just some other source. But just start relaxing and allowing myself to receive the answer, that it will come. But opening up to it and really just kind of getting to know yourself first. That's where everything has to start. And by acknowledging what you love. This is a big thing, and this is even now, since I've been kind of doing this for a while, but even now it is always going to be an evolving thing. Acknowledging what you love is basically, to me, the way I see that is the same thing as giving yourself permission to want what you want, and that is huge. I mean, you can spend a lot of time worrying about what other people are going to think, what they're going to say, is it going to sell? But in the beginning, when you're really starting to get to know what it is that lights you up, you've got to start to get familiar with that feeling. And, not only, it's like, what does that really mean? How am I supposed to feel? And sometimes you just might not know if this whole thing is new to you. And so just getting familiar with how it feels to open up and acknowledge and give yourself permission to accept that answer and be okay with it and say, hey, this is who I am. That leads into the very next thing, which you start the feeling of what it actually feels like to have these big, massive shifts in energy. Because it sounds kind of all, a little bit out there and esoteric and like, okay, shifts in energy, transformation, and so on and so forth. It's really important stuff, but I just got to, take a step back and say there's a certain way that it feels, and you kind of know it when you feel it,
Yep.
And
Yeah.
when you figure, you give yourself permission to want what you want, and then that leads into the next thing we have, which is trust your gut.
Yeah, I love that. And it is that kind of that tapping in. And, if you're buying a house or something or a car or whatever, you just come to that house or that car and it's like, this is it. This is the one, and it might not even make sense in
Yes.
your head. It just might not make sense in
Mm-hmm.
your head. The other thing of like, what do you love? If you don't know what do you love, answer, then what don't you love? And that's very powerful
Yeah.
for me to
Oh,
figure
yeah.
things out from that perspective. I kind of, that seems to be my go-to. So very cool. All right. Yeah. So
All right.
just trusting your gut is so important. And then tell us about the create a comfortable plan.
Yeah, that to me is a plan that you can get excited about, that one that keeps you motivated and inspired, but also moves you along, without stretching you out too bad. Because I know for me personally, what it was like when I was in that corporate setting, I was in a very, high-stress job. Clearly, I don't think anybody would argue that retail pharmacy is a pretty stressful lot. If you've ever been by your neighborhood fill-in-the-blank drugstore on any given day of the week, to take a peek back there and see what's going on. It may not look like much, but boom, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. It's
Right.
quite stressful. So many people come to me and say, but I'm so busy doing everything else. I've got my career, I've got my kids. How could I possibly have time to? But what I mean by comfortable plan is not one that coddles you along, but one that actually is doable. So you will start to take those steps. And there's a difference between making it comfortable in terms of just, not, like I said, just enough to coddle you along a little bit, but not challenge you. That's no good either. So
Right.
It's a perfect balance, between what's going to challenge you and what's going to also keep you from, becoming overwhelmed and stopping.
Yeah,
Either
I love
one of
it.
those situations is good, So that's kind of like we like happy mediums and pretty balanced.
Right. So create a
Right.
business from what you love. So you figure out what you love and then create a business from that. And that's really where you're coming into people's lives. Is that right, Jennifer?
Yeah, I like to really help people focus on themselves first and get to the point where they can figure out that is just so much the first step. It's just so much. So many folks out there I see that even have been at their business for a while and still aren't quite sure on who they are, what they do, and who their people are, and that's kind of my big three questions right there that I would start up with everybody. It's like, and I personally will default to these at least once a week, maybe sometimes even daily. It's like, now, who are you? Why are you doing this? And who are you doing it for? It's simple enough questions, big answers, of course, but
Yeah.
important ones nonetheless, So, you really can put something huge into bullet points if you want to, just to kind of keep that flow going and kind of, keep yourself focused. But that is my main thing, is to help people make sure they can answer those questions the whole time and just make sure that they are being the person that they want to be and the person that they want to share with the rest of the world. Because there's something.
That's an amazing service that you're offering, because those are deep questions and they're difficult to process on one's own. So to have somebody looking at us from the outside, here's what I'm hearing, here's what I'm seeing, is this resonating with you? That's the beauty of what you're bringing to the table. Just, helping people before they get into, all the other aspects of, say, even the coaching world, right? You can't
For sure.
come up with anything there. There's like coaches, you can't even work with a coach until you know some of this stuff, right? So yeah,
Yes.
really get people ready.
Oh yeah, that's my main goal, because I know that is honestly what I struggled with the most. Now, it's my firm belief that when you're going into business, it's going to challenge you and it's going to require a lot of you. And if you don't have that core, really big-time desire and belief to share your message, it's not going to be strong enough to carry you, because this is hard sometimes. I mean, I'm not going to lie. And it's worth it, of course, but if you don't love what you're doing, and that's one of two things that's going to happen, it's either you're not going to make you happy or you're going to quit. I mean, I've had both of those situations happen to me, and I just won't want that to happen to other people any more than it must. And like you said, too, so much good prep work and action steps along the way to keep you going, not only to get yourself ready, but also start creating that momentum is necessary before you could even work with some of the other folks out there. In fact, one of my, dearest coaches and mentors was, I got her email this morning about how she was, getting ready to launch her next round of her signature program. And one of the questions on her list was, is this program for me if I don't know what my business is about yet? She said, no, figure that out first and then come back. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
absolutely.
exactly.
A lot of people,
that's full honesty.
well, you're filling in a gap out there of people going, I really want to get out of this job. And then the coaches going, well, so who is your target market? Who's your ideal client? And they're like, I don't have a clue. That's that gap that you're, bridging for people, helping them to fill that in. So that's really a great service. And the idea of like what drives you, like you said, if it isn't, when I always say like more words of labor of love, whatever you're doing, you better really love it, because that's the only thing that's going to get you through, because there's going to be all this stuff that pops up because we get in our own way, and technology and everything, it's amazing how powerful we are, and we can shut down all kinds of things. So what drives you is another thing that you can help people with. Is that right?
Absolutely. It's like that old jazz song, and I think it's Cole Porter. I could be wrong, but you know how I don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Oh, I like it.
You right? Yeah, definitely. So figuring out, and it doesn't have to be this. This is the thing too. So many of us get so frustrated trying to figure out what it is that we love and what really is, our biggest driving passion in life. But I have this belief that a lot of us already know a lot more than we are ready to admit we do, and we just need to give ourselves permission, number one. And number two, it's a process that right now should be low pressure and fun in the beginning. I mean, really, truly, just kick back and enjoy this. This is the fun part. This is the part where you really discover your big thing. So no pressure, guys, really, truly, And that's the thing I know. I'm banging my head against the wall. It's like, oh, I want to know now. And that didn't work. I mean,
do you have a story of the slide here says make who you are into what you do? Do you happen to have a story of evolution that kind of taps into that?
Yeah, actually I do. It's funny because a lot of the signs along the way were pointing to me to be a teacher of one way or the other. And I thought, okay, in a classroom, that particular formal of a setting, maybe teaching through counseling patients at the pharmacy was what, the direction I was supposed to be. Everything always pointed toward my being personally to being a teacher and sharing, special things with people. And all the time I was thinking, okay, well, I'm doing that, but why isn't it quite clicking? So I started spending a lot of time around, I started seeking out, my kind of people, so to speak. So people that were in meetups, and started working with coaches and mentors. And a lot of the time I had very little to contribute to the group meetings, to the masterminds. I would just kind of sit there and absorb it all and get so crazy excited about what other people were doing. And yet at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, great. Well, what am I going to do? But never mind that. I'm so happy to be part of this good energy, but I don't even care. And then it occurred to me, what is so much fun for me is watching this process happen in other people. Watching them light up makes me light up. And I thought, if I could just help encourage people to really open up and discover their true selves like that, we would just all be happy, myself included. And so I thought, okay, that's so perfect, because I know I want to teach, but teach what? And it all occurred to me, it's what made me the happiest is watching people, big epiphanies happen. I've been in situations where I've been working in group settings, literally just watch people just like, boom, have this all of a sudden this big light come out of their eyes, and I'm just like, I want to teach people how to do that, and I think I could figure out a way, So
that's very cool.
Being around an environment with the kind of folks that are maybe just a little bit further ahead of you, but not too much farther, so they can still relate, and to the people that inspire you and keep you going and keep you open keep you helping you rather open up to new possibilities. It's just a huge thing for me, and I know it is for others too. And
Yeah,
so the more I
absolutely.
can help people, do that and encourage them to, hey, you can really find all this in yourself. I mean, I can't tell you what it is, but I can certainly help you find it, because
Yeah.
it's all in there,
Yeah.
Nothing I
Yeah,
can
well,
give to you,
yeah.
but at the
Yep.
same time, it
There.
definitely encourage it to come out. So,
Yeah, well, I like your simple formula for it. It's very generic and it's not one that you tend to do on your own. It is something that you do with someone else. So you've niched yourself very well. I love it. Okay, and
thank
then
you.
here's a biggie. You wrote them. Here's a
Oh,
biggie.
yeah.
Believe it's possible.
Oh, right. Yeah. You hear that all the time. Got to believe in yourself and all of that. And, it might sound cliche and almost kind of irritating after a time when you hear it so many times, but, it really is just that true. And I have found that it's one of the biggest stumbling blocks that you can put in your own way is, of course, yourself. People tell me the other day I was actually getting a good discussion going on in a Facebook group, and I said, okay, here's the deal. Let's say money with no object, right? And you didn't have to worry about paying the bills. You could quit your job tomorrow and start your business. What would make you hesitate then? Let's forget money. Everybody says the first thing, oh, how am I going to pay? No, forget about that. Pretend that's not even a factor. What
That's right.
would your right? Yeah, just pretend like, I don't know, you got a trust fund. I don't know what the deal is. Let's say you don't have to worry about money. Would you jump right in and do it? And so many people kept saying, my number two fear is, what are people going to say about what I want to do? What are they going to say about me? Are they going to laugh? Are they going to, change their opinion of me? What are my friends and family going to think? Blah, blah, blah. And it just started making me think, I have the feeling, and I've kind of put this into, experimental stage many times. Do people really care all that much about what I am doing? And the answer is, you know what? Probably not. Whose idea was this that people are going to say stuff about me? And it's like, wait a minute, I'm saying stuff about me. Wow. What a revelation that was. It's like, I'm the one telling myself, you're not ready, you're not experienced, you're not good enough, people are going to laugh. And as crazy irony as it was, I've always, had that same worry as just as much as anybody else. But the truth is that most people who, whose opinion I respect, first of all, my friends and family, were thrilled when I started doing what I wanted to do. And even when I left my job not too long ago, half my coworkers were saying, take me with you. So,
Oh, I love it, right? Yeah. And
right?
so
Like, oh, Jen,
hang
can you
on to
hire
that.
me?
Hang on to that. You've got their contact. Get back to them.
Oh, yeah,
You mentioned
absolutely.
that, and I know you weren't really joking. In a way, you were. It was, but there's another piece of all of us where we're really not. So tell me more about that. What does take them through your process. You're going to get some clients out of that because like I said, that was where I hit my success was around the people with the know, like, and trust pre-established. I love it. So yeah, naysay messages tend to come more from ourselves than others. I love it. And then what lights
Oh,
you up
yeah.
is there for a reason, right? That's for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And you can
Oh,
really
yeah.
monetize that. And sometimes we think, really, nah, who'd be interested in that? And that's where you come in again, Jennifer, to say, no, really, you can be that
Yeah.
outside voice that they don't experience until they start talking and really letting people in on where they're at and what they're intending to do. And I just love that about your work. Okay. And then understand how to expand. What does that mean? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, we talk a lot about expansive feelings, and these are the ones that make you. They're the creative ones, they're the passion-driven ones, the ones that kind of make you light up from the inside. But how do you encourage those when you feel so stuck? Is a pretty important thing, I think, because all of us, no matter who you are, tend to have those moments where you get kind of sluggish, and it doesn't feel good. It feels like you're kind of shutting down, like the possibilities are starting to dwindle away.
Yeah.
And and as the world just seems to be closing in on you, I mean, it just can be ridiculous sometimes. But there are ways that you can actually encourage that. What I mean by expansive is those feelings where you just feel all of a sudden lifted, like you're expanding from the middle of your body and even up to the top of your head. Even sometimes it can go the opposite direction where it can come in through the top of your head and just be like, almost, literally like a message from above. It's like, whoa, it's so, amazing when that happens, but how do you open yourself up to that? And a couple different ways that I like to do it. A lot of us love yoga and meditation, and so do I. And it doesn't even need to be something that, a lot of folks will hear, at least that I've talked to in the past, think meditation and yoga, they'll think, oh, do you have to, go into this whole new belief system and practice and,
Right?
become a vegan and all this sort of stuff. And like, no, it's totally accessible to everybody. All that really means is just sitting with yourself and what is going on in the moment that you're in and just relaxing and quieting your mind a little bit, right? It's really no more complicated than that. And anybody can do it anytime, And so that's a really big thing, especially I find in the morning to help set off the tone for the day. The other thing that I don't hear of quite as much, but I'm starting to hear it more, is big time motion. I cannot tell you the number of times that I've had amazing ideas and fabulous inspirations and just felt completely like I've had a top to bottom chakra reboot and a good hard run or a tough workout. Sometimes it's time to, dig in and really get the serious physical motion going on and really start to push yourself physically, because not only is that good for your body and good for your health, but it can do amazing things for your creativity and your inspiration.
Love
About as
it.
much, sometimes, yeah, I mean, I've gotten as much out of a long, good long 5 to 10 mile run as I have a yoga class any day of the week. So, all
Nice.
respect in the world of my yoga teacher friends, but I think they get me when I say that. They know me and my devotion to running. So, but
I
all of
love it.
those things, physical world kind of things that you can actually apply right here, right now. You may not be able to, up and go out and go for a long run right this minute, but, you can schedule into your day. So these are things
Right.
that are relatable, things that
Yep.
anybody can do without having any major immediate shifts in mindset. I mean, these actually might even, little things like that can actually help that mindset shift in spite of themselves, but they are things that anybody can do anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just in a summit about shifting self-doubt, and what came across, I think, in all 21 interviews somewhere along the way, is to get into your body. And you're just right
Yeah.
now even describing a way that you get into your body, and some ideas for all of us to get into our bodies. So I love it. Very cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
go do what you love. All right, and you
Yes,
start from
please.
where you are, create a business from what you love, and believe it's possible. So why don't you give us a review?
All right. Well, just like I said, start from where you are. That doesn't mean, that wherever you are is beautiful. Wherever you are, you're there for a reason, and it just takes the first step. So start to really look inward, start celebrating the person that you are and figuring out what it is that you love to do, what you love to do, what inspires you. And when you get to the creative business and what you love department, that is the time to start sharing that, to start getting out there and seeing who is out there who'd be interested in what you have to share, and just let it happen and let it evolve. It will always be evolving. Just because you pick something to start with right this minute doesn't mean you have to do it forever. That it's not a lifetime commitment, but it is a start. So once you get the whole thing flowing, where you start to get in touch with you, start to create that business from what you love. And this one, the last one, even though it's last, it's an ongoing thing, so it really should be included in the first 2 steps, is always believe that it is possible, that you can do it, and that really you can create anything you want to. Maybe not in the next 5 minutes, but you can do it. So always keep that open mind, always keep open to everything the universe is trying to tell you, and everything that you already know about yourself. Give yourself permission to feel it and know it all.
Yep, I like it. Feel it in the body. Very cool. And you
Mm-hmm.
have an amazing gift. Thank you so much. You have put together interviews, an interview series on Ditch the Cubicle. And remember now, it's not about sitting in a corporate office in a cubicle. There's many cubicles, and so even the pharmacy was Jennifer's
Mm-hmm.
cubicle. So
Yes,
that's
indeed.
great. there's lots of juicy things in that interview series. I've seen some of it. It's amazing. So thank you so much. So just I'm going to let you talk about it, and our viewers can go back out to your email to click the link. It's right there for you. But go ahead, Jennifer, and fill us in on
Oh
Ditch.
yes, definitely. Ditch the cubicle. Yeah, definitely. It's basically it's a collection of interviews plus a mini e-course that goes along with it that has some audio and worksheet components to it as well. So in the interview series, I interview some amazing up and coming and established entrepreneurs, and we all tell our stories about how not only did we free ourselves from the corporate world, but also took the steps necessary to figure out what it is that we loved. And everybody has a little bit different spin on their journey, but they're all just very inspiring and amazing stories and just a lot of fun. So we have some great ladies on there. And in addition, I also am including a 5-day e-course that goes along with it, some worksheets to help get you started, get the creative process going, and start to shift your beliefs, start to open up and expand basically all the stuff we talked about here. Yeah, in a nice little step-by-step format.
Wow, that is a huge and very generous gift. So thank you for that
absolutely.
added bonus to it. And it's all complimentary, folks. So go back to your email, click the link, and go grab it. Register for all of that. That's very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you are welcome.
So anything else that you would like to leave everybody with, Jennifer? Anything else coming up for you?
Yeah, my big mantra right now is you don't need permission from me to be you, but if you're looking for permission from someone, you got it from me. So be you.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, so you got it. Go for it. Be you.
That's a great.
I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, that's a great tagline. That's amazing. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in here. And I'm going to say goodbye to Jennifer. Bye-bye, Jennifer. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Linda. Thank you.